So we probably ought to mention divorce as well. We won't go too deeply into it, but uh, just like marriage is different from one culture to another, divorce is viewed differently as well. And so there's a group called the Semai, Malaysia. Um, and To get married, basically what you do is you just kind of stay the night and keep staying the night. And if somebody asks, "Are you two married?" then just say, "Yeah, I guess so." And to be divorced, you would just stop staying the night, and after some period of time, you would just not be married anymore. And so, that's on one end of the spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum, there are obviously many cultures where divorce is not legal, and so you get married, and you will be married to that person, until you die. Uh, so, so we've talked about uh, divorce rates, and when it comes to actually calculating divorce rate, it's going to be a lot more complicated than we'd probably think. And depending on who you talk to, you're going to get divorce rate numbers of probably somewhere between 30 and 50% for a culture like ours. And depending on how you calculate them, you could probably end up with either of those numbers or anywhere in between. But generally speaking, 50% is kind of what people use to kind of throw around. So what about a couple a person who gets a divorce and they get married again? Does the divorce rate go up for second marriages, or does it go down? And some people might think, well, it probably goes down because um, you've made the original, if we want to call it an error in judgment, and you've gotten better at making decisions. You're older now, and so divorce rates for second marriages probably go down. Other people might say, well, we like what we like, and we tend to not learn from our mistakes, and so divorce rates are probably higher for second marriages. And it turns out that the latter is probably more accurate, and so divorce rates for second marriages do, in fact, seem to go up, and maybe even approaching 70% of second marriages end in divorce. And then for those reasons, third marriages and beyond, the divorce rate is usually about 3 out of 4, something like that. So initial marriage divorce rates, something like 50%, then maybe 67 for second, and something like 74 for third. So divorce rates.